If you're a maintenance supervisor for a commercial property, you've had to deal with everything from leaky faucets to flickering light bulbs. But nothing's worse than that ancient boiler that's lived in the building since the day it was built, 50 years ago. It's enough to make anyone lose their cool. That's where Grainger comes in. With industrial-grade products and dependable fast delivery, Grainger can help with any challenge, from worn-out components to everyday necessities. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's been incredible, and the amount of time she spends after games talking to fans, getting those pictures. Genuinely, she stays out there until no one wants one. Seriously, she's out there for like 2 hours, doing that, and then she's inside doing media stuff as well. So she wears that responsibility, if you will. If you're going to put yourself out there, respect to her for doing it, because, like I say, she made a lot of people smile. She bring a lot of joy to the league. But there were so many hoops that the management at Bristol Bears had to jump through. They were actually going across to the men's coaching staff, because they have obviously slightly more experience about bringing in players from overseas. So it was almost a collaborative effort. The men's and the women's teams came together to try and support and get Ilona Maher across. So yeah, credit to her for sticking with them. And she's made a good choice, because they're a lovely team, really nice team. But look, since she's come back now, they're in the race for the top 4, which pre-Christmas you would have thought they might have been out of. So is that all down here? I don't know, but it sounds good, so I'm going to say it.
Philippa Tuttiett. Welcome to US Rugby Happy Hour Live. Interviews with the biggest names in American rugby.
The New England Free Jacks, Major League Rugby champions. One-on-one to score.
Here are your hosts, Bill Baker and that other guy.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today. This is a very special day. Actually what we should do, Fitzy, is back up a second. I'm Bill Baker of Eagles Overseas, and it's been a year of us saying the other guy. If you don't know, this is John Fitzpatrick from the Rugby Morning.
Bill, we've been doing this show for 5 years, 2 years on video, and still in the intro, I can't even get my name. It's not like it's a hard name to pronounce. Come on.
Well, just be lucky we renewed your contract for the 5th season. So, with that said, we are really excited to kick off season 5. We had a great year last year. We had some amazing guests on last year, some great topics. And today is no different also. We're going to be talking PWR, Ilona Maher, and others with sports analysts, Philippa Tuttiett. See, I messed myself up already. But she'll be on in a few minutes, and she has this great wealth and knowledge of PWR and all that, and much more as well. So we're really excited to have her on, talking all of that. Fitzy, again, it's great to kick it off. It's cold over here. It's very sunny in your room, or it was. It's just, I just want to talk about a couple of topics coming up at least this month. We've got plans to talk about the 2031 and 33 World Cup preps here in the United States. Major League Rugby kicks off in a month. So we'll be talking about that. There's a new documentary coming out about San Diego Legion, quest for the cup, or the shield, which didn't work out well for them. Sorry, spoiler. But there's a lot coming up that we're definitely going to cover in this show. And for those of you who are new to this show, we do go live typically on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Today is a little different because every so often we do have guests from overseas, so we try to accommodate and to get them on, because I don't think some of our guests want to be on the show at 2 in the morning.
Why not?
Although Mike Friday did once.
Yes, he did.
So other than that, do you have anything else you need to share? Anything special you want to share with our listeners?
Are you? Do I have a big announcement I need to share?
I don't know. I think I say that every show, hoping you come out with it.
I get nervous because I'm like, am I forgetting something? I don't think so. I'm just excited.
Script, man.
2025. Let's go.
Off script. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of go, let's go. All right. Before we get to our guests, listeners, viewers of our pod or this live show, please like, follow, or subscribe to this show. And also follow us on social media and visit EaglesOverseas.com and RugbyMorning.com for more about USA Rugby, International Rugby, and the Eagles Overseas is obviously what it is. We mostly cover players who play overseas, Eagles. And Rugby Morning, you cover just about everything, which is great. So check out both those websites and also follow us on social media at Eagles Overseas and at Rugby Morning. I think we're on everything now. I don't know if you're on Blue Sky, but I'm on Blue Sky now.
There's so many. There's so many. I can't.
It takes me 3 hours now to post one post. All right, let's do this. Our guest is waiting. I'm hoping she's as excited as we are because we have a special jingle. We started late season 4 of doing these jingles, okay? Our jingle team, who we gave a raise in the offseason and a nice Christmas bonus, have upped their game. All right, they're a little longer now, a little more involved. And I'm telling you, this is going to win us an Oscar, no, Grammy, that's it. Or a Tony, one of the two. All right, here we go. Let's do this.
Yo, from the pitch to the booth, a voice that commands, a do-it-yourself across the land. Built to own fame, a passion so bright, the face of Welsh rugby shining never so light. In the commentary box, the words resonate true. A fan favorite, a vision anew. Co-host in the power pod, with wisdom and grace. She's breaking the mold, leaving a mark on this space.
Yeah.
One of the most respected, her insights ignite. Stories unfold, a brilliant shining light. Let's welcome to the show, Philippa Tuttiett.
Oh, yeah. Come on, you can't beat that. I think the Power Pod needs to be adding something like that down the road. I'm just saying.
That is very impressive and very kind. You've got to send me a copy of that. My son will die if he hears that. He's going to love it.
We will.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, listen, the jingle mentions you as the face of women's Welsh rugby. WRU just announced a new women's rugby boss, Belinda Moore.
Yeah.
No mention of you going for that role. Is that a thing for you?
She had the song, maybe.
I know, yeah. But no, it's good to see Belinda Moore in there. So for anyone who doesn't know, she was the CEO of PWR Rugby. So she stepped away last year and people were wondering where she was going. But she's got her hands full in Welsh Rugby because it's had its share of controversy over the last year. But hopefully getting someone like Belinda in is going to be a really positive impact and get the women on the right path, especially leading into the World Cup this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, big year, certainly. I mean, I guess just Philippa, from your point of view, obviously Welsh International on the commentating side, the administrative side. Is that something that just piques your interest, or do you like what you're doing?
No, you know what? It's funny you should ask that actually, because there was last year the WRU redid their whole board. So there were positions available, including one that would be looking after specifically the women and girls game. And I had quite a lot of people contact me on social media saying, you're going to go for it. And it's never really something I've thought about because my day job is I'm a builder. So that's my comfort zone. I'd never been in a boardroom. I sat around a table a couple of times in leadership groups when I was playing, but that was it. So when that came up, it did spark my interest, but I thought I need to do some groundwork first. So I've actually just recently applied for a board position in another sport because I think diversity of knowledge is really key. And I don't just want to get into something I'm very, very passionate about, but I want to make sure my head is thinking in the right way so my heart doesn't just take over. So I think maybe a couple of years in a different sport. And certainly I'm so passionate about Welsh Rugby. I've spent the past few years talking so much about it, and I'm very vocal on how I think things could be done. And I certainly want to get myself into a position where maybe it's not just words and it's more actions. But I think that position is something I want to build up to. So look out.
Well, speaking of build up to, you mentioned it before, your day job as a builder. Yeah. So you have 2 companies, is that correct? 2 construction companies?
One construction company, and then I was running a mentoring company as well.
Oh, right. So all women-run construction company, as how I read it. I need to get my daughters to watch because we have a small place in New York, upstate New York area that we're fixing up together. And these are college-age, high school-age girls, women. And they need to watch the show. So, or maybe I can get you to come over here to do an American show.
I would love that. No problem too.
So, Philippa, let's jump into it. Obviously, Ilona Maher is the name right now in rugby, generally speaking, if you ask us, especially the women's game. We really want to dig into the impact Ilona Maher is having in the game, especially the women's game. And the most popular player in the world, I didn't say the best player, but extremely good. People get upset about that for some reason. I don't know. People just like getting upset. She's very good. And her performance against Exeter last weekend was something else, definitely showed how good she can be in this league. How do rugby fans and non-fans in Europe, how do they know who Ilona Maher is?
Yeah. It's amazing, actually, the amount of people that have contacted me that don't even follow rugby, but have heard of Ilona Maher, which is just testament to millions of followers that she has. And consequently, the amount of people that have been getting tickets to games who I know, friends of friends, have never gone to a game before, but they're just like, well, it just seems I want to see what she's all about. And it's just brilliant because if they get their foot through the door, they see the quality of rugby, they experience the atmosphere. So a lot of them have bought up tickets since because we know, Ilona Maher at the moment, she's only here for a couple of months now.
Right.
Maybe she'll come back after the World Cup. We don't know. But the fact is, so many eyes are now getting onto the Women's Premiership and hopefully those eyes will stay. So she's having a huge impact.
Yeah, well, we'll get to some of those questions about, the sustainability, right, and the awareness and the exposure for Premier Women's Rugby. There's a number of great players over there, particularly Women's Eagles. But from your point of view, from being based in Europe, paint the picture for us in kind of that build up to Ilona's first match there, right? The Bristol Bears, they were kind of teasing, yeah, we think she's gonna be playing on, that first Sunday coming back from January, and everyone's like, they would be silly not to. They've been promoting the heck out of it. Paint a picture for us, just the build up and maybe the excitement.
It was incredible. Honestly, it was absolutely brilliant. The fact they moved pitch, so they went to Ashton Gate where they only play their biggest, best games because they knew the ticket sales would go through the roof, and they did. And like I said, the amount of people that were going to it that just wanted to see what she was all about. And you know what? I've got to give huge credit to her. I mean, she's obviously a woman of great integrity, great intelligence, great resilience to put herself out there in the way that she does. We all know that as amazing social media can be, it's got another side to it. And she's very strong with dealing with that side. And you think she's come over to the best league in the world, openly said, look, I haven't played 15 since college, but I want to try. She signed with one of the best teams, and then she's got everyone buying tickets to the game that she doesn't even know she's been playing. Can you imagine the pressure on her to one, just make the team, then to come off the bench? Crowd went mental, by the way, when she did, which was just class. Put in a performance, and then she gets to start the next week and again puts in another performance. I mean, you talk about the pressure that athletes deal with, but I really do feel with her, everything she's got going on the side as well, it's another level of pressure that she just wears so calmly and so professionally, but with that, smile and that beautiful red lipstick, and catches everyone's eye. And yeah, she's brought a lot of joy to the league as well.
Yeah. It's certainly in the run up to. Oh, sorry, Gus.
No, you're right.
Certainly in the run up to it, you talk about the spotlight. I mean, Dancing with the Stars, tremendous platform for non-rugby fans here in the U.S. who happened to hear and see Ilona and see she was part of the USA Women's Sevens team that won bronze in such a dramatic fashion at the Olympics. I guess I'll have to ask you first. Did you watch any of Dancing with the Stars?
No, I didn't. But if I could have, I would have. I watched all the social media clips, and she just looked amazing.
Yeah.
Again, to talk about the confidence, which she openly talks about, that she doesn't feel like she has a lot, but I just thought she looked like such a just powerful, strong woman doing that. And again, just putting herself out there. So no, I didn't get to watch too much of it, but I dare say as soon as someone in the UK gets hold of a couple of clips, it'll be pushed out there.
And speaking of, after Dancing with the Stars is over, she arrives in Bristol in December for camp, just training, obviously, and immediately is the media's center of attention. And there's a lot of great rugby players in Europe, obviously. Has any other woman rugby player really drawn that attention before? And also the negative side, has there been possibly any resentment from other players?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I couldn't really comment too much on the resentment. I mean, you've got to be looking at some of first of all, you'd look at the wingers in Bristol and what are they thinking? This player's coming in taking my slot. But I haven't spoken to them all personally, but I know they were buzzing to have her in camp as well. And I think, especially with Bristol Bears, they've got a really good culture, really good environment. Head coach Dave Ward, they're a lovely guy, very passionate about the women's game, not there for a stepping stone. He is there because he loves coaching women's rugby. And I think, they very much embraced her. So I certainly don't think there was any resentment. I think, if anything, a lot of the players are like, oh, great. More people are looking at this league. Look at me. I'm over here too, So
Yeah.
I think they're fully embracing it as well.
Well, there seems like she's eating it up. Ilona's eating it up. I mean, and she's not hiding, and she never has before. She's taken her time to sign as many autographs and hours after a match, taking pictures as much as she can. So, so when I see negative things about her, I would think, why? Do you not pay attention, or are you just reading what some other said? So the kids and everything must be loving it. So you've seen it in person, right? Or you're close to it. I mean, talk about that reaction from the fans just seeing her.
Oh, again, it's been incredible. And the amount of time she spends after games talking to fans, getting those pictures. Genuinely, she stays out there until no one wants one, She's out there for like 2 hours, doing that. And then she's inside doing media stuff as well. So, she wears that responsibility, if you will, if you're going to put yourself out there, and respect to her for doing it, because, like I say, she make a lot of people smile. She bring a lot of joy to the league.
Yeah.
But I did have one question. Love your comment, because I think I read this somewhere just about the recruitment process for Ilona to come to the PWR, and I think the Bristol Bears were one of the first teams that reached out to her, and because it sounded like, and maybe I have this wrong, that some of the clubs were concerned about some of the visa issues. She hadn't played 15s in a while, so they kind of were taking a wait and see approach. And if I have this right, the Bristol Bears coaching staff was very patient. Said, "Hey, we want you part of this team. We're going to help you through this process." And then once those started to pick up a little bit, the other clubs were like, wait, Ilona has the, it sounds like she's coming over here. Let's jump in the fray. And credit to Ilona, it sounded like she was like, I'm sticking with Bristol. They came to me first. They said they were going to help me through this process. So I think that speaks a lot about just, her character and maybe her integrity to say they approached me from the beginning. They've walked me through this process the entire way. And if you looked at the standings right before she joined, certainly competitive in the pack. I mean, she could have gone to, any other club, joined up with them, maybe one of the table leaders, but she stuck it out with Bristol. So what does that say to you, I guess?
I think it does back up the real reason why she's doing it as well. She has a lot of respect for rugby. She wants to bring that eye to rugby. And that's backed up then with the respect she has for players and staff and the effort, because it was quite an effort from what I understand. I mean, I tried to read the form and all that. This is maybe why I'm not on the admin side, because I was like, wow, this is just crazy. This girl wants to play. She's amazing. She's going to bring her out to the league. Let's just get her in. But there were so many hoops that the management at Bristol Bears had to jump through, and not just it was Dave Ward. They were actually going across to the men's coaching staff, because they have obviously slightly more experience about bringing in players from overseas. So it was almost a collaborative effort. The men's and the women's teams came together to try and support and get Ilona Maher across. So yeah, credit to her for sticking with them. And she's made a good choice, because they're a lovely team, really nice team. And not just because of her try or her try assist last round, but look, since she's come back now, they're in the race for the top 4, which pre-Christmas you would have thought they might have been out of. So is that all down here? I don't know, but it sounds good, so I'm going to say this.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
And back to the show. Philippa, let's talk about her playing on the field now. We touched on it a minute ago. She suited up on the wing for her first 2 matches, 20 minutes in her debut. Not many chances, not really a chance to get involved too much in that match, but more of an impact in the game this past weekend in their win against Exeter, which also Exeter is loaded with talent as well. Do you think it's part of the game plan to get the ball into Ilona's hands more in this match, even just to get her more acclimated with the PWR level?
I don't think so at the moment, just because she is fresh to 15s and the league and to the way that Bristol play. Now, the great thing with Bristol is they love ball in hand. So they, to a certain extent, are simplistic in the way that it's not like, right, we do 4 phases here and then we kick, or we do 3 phases here and then we go wide. It's very much just play. It doesn't matter who's outside the 9 or the 10. If you're a forward, you can run an outside line. If you're a back, you can run a short line. It's just play and pass. So in that sense, it's a good one for Ilona Maher to drop into. But I think it's more of a case of try and get some of the pressure off her because there's enough. So rather than bringing her in on intricate switches or saying, look, we are going to force the ball to you, it's just a case that it will get out there because that's the way that Bristol playing. But Bristol have got some fantastic wingers, on the other side. Look, Millie David, actually, she's been brilliant, but she was injured, which is probably why Ilona Maher's got her start. But look, Bristol got some fantastic backs. So their general ethos is pass, 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 get it out to the wides. And whether it's Ilona Maher or it's Hannah Bottoman, the prop who can, trust me, shift, if you're out there, you go. It was just that type of game that really got it into her hands a little bit more against Exeter. But I don't think it was like a purposeful thing. No.
Well, John and I coach a little rugby, a little bit. I feel like, and I may be too early for this, as I think you're just mentioning, I feel like she may change the way opponents play as well. You can't leave her alone on the wing. She's big, she's fast, she likes contact. And one player will have difficulties taking her down. It seems like you have to push the defense out a little more, which could create gaps in the centers. Mm-hmm. Is that an accurate observation?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she is the triple threat. She's got speed, she's got size, and she's got handling ability, And we saw glimpses of that at the weekend, which was really nice to see because, like I say, she's had so much hype about what she does off the field. It was good to see what she can bring on the field as well. And she literally ran over a player. Yeah. It was almost awkward. It was like, wow. Like this player completely lined her up, did everything textbook. She was on the tips of her toes. She was bent at the hips, bent at the knees, went in, just ran over her. It was that strength, that power. But then equally, she had a try assist where she cut back inside off the wing as a player sort of wrapped around her back, and then she fed it back out as well. So it's that, it's definitely more frustrating when you've got a big, powerful player that thinks that's their one thing. And you're like, that's great. But you know what? Use that to release someone else. Put that pass in, create a diversion. And, Alone's already got that sevens mindset. There is no I in a team, and there's certainly not in sevens. You have to work for one another. And she's bringing that now into the 15 game, which is also really exciting to see.
And also, because of the sevens game, she's had a lot of experience with the open field by getting tackled or avoiding tackles. So one of the girls I coach, I send her clips every so often. I sent her pretty much every angle of that play where she ran over that scrum half. And I said, look, she didn't try to run around her because she had a good position to tackle her. So she actually, Ilona initiated contact on her, which created that momentum for Ilona. And so I sent her many of those, okay, great. I said, no, it's that easy. Just do it yourself now.
Yeah, very true.
Go, John.
Well, so Philippa, some of the conversations, at least some fans over here were talking about. Okay, where do you put Ilona? Like, where is her ideal spot on the field? Is it wing? Is it center? Hey, do you throw her in the pack? Is she like a number 8? So I'm going to ask you to put your coach's cap on for a second here.
Ooh.
If you could play her in any position that you wanted to or try out, I mean, talk us through where else would you love to see play?
This is a great question. And prior to her coming, we were all sort of having chats about this because let's be honest, what an exciting back row she would be. She's going to tackle everything. She's got that speed off the mark, but she's got that handling it. She's got the fitness that she can continually move around the park. But then people are like, well, now you want her as a 12. Imagine her on a crash ball run. But then again, she could be a decoy because she could move around on the outside. And then people are like, put her in at second row. What an agile, amazing sex. She's got the height, she's got the athleticism, she could jump in the line out, bolster the scrum, but you've almost got a second row who's also got the tackling ability of a back row, who's got the passing ability of a centre. All these things. And you know what? Maybe if she chooses to stay at 15, I think all of these could be an option for her in her future. I think right now wing is good for her because of this quick transition and the fact that, the World Cup's this year. I think maybe wing or centre potentially. Could be both a genuine option for her, but I would be more than happy. I mean, I'd put her in a hooker. Like, anywhere, if she can do a job, like, she's grand.
Well, there's 4 more matches left, right? Let's try her at different positions.
Yes, that would be good.
Really, certainly, coaches have got some options there with her. And I think one of the things I want to get into more is when we talk about her impact on the game and, the number of fans now that are attending the game. I mean, unreal, sold out, right? And I think Dave Ward said something, or maybe it was others who commented that felt like it was a lot of maybe new fans interested in the game, or like casual fans, which everyone who was around rugby talks about growing the game and getting in more eyeballs, and which I think is fantastic. Is that a fair assessment to say that
Yeah.
a lot of the fans are perhaps new to the sport, and maybe
Mhm.
is it fair to say maybe young girls and women who maybe are looking up to Ilona as a model for like what a an athlete can be and what they can aspire to?
Yeah, oh, 100%. I think, and for years we kind of had this bit of a not a battle, but you know, people rather than saying men's rugby is great, women's rugby is great, they go down this kind of rabbit hole of which one's the best, and these comparisons which you just cannot compare. It's a completely different game, and that's to be celebrated and enjoyed. So whereas previously maybe there's been an emphasis on trying to convert existing rugby fans that like traditionally men's rugby over to the women's game. I think, especially with the World Cup this year in England, I think there's been more of an active push to engage new supporters and new fans because we've got an opportunity here to show a completely different brand of rugby and start off at scratch with some people. And I know for sure, like some of my friends and friends of friends have gone to a Bristol game purely because they've heard about this alone. Well, and I think it's both boys and girls, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like my son's 8, and when I said, guess who's the most followed rugby player in the world? Obviously, he started saying men's names because they're the ones he knows. And then when I said who it was and showed him a couple of clips, which he thought was hilarious, he's now gone into school and telling his friends as well. So I think that social media connection is so good for the youth, for the younger generation to get engaged into sport and see these characters. Because quite often, especially at younger level, I think young people don't always know what's going on in the game to the tactical level. They enjoy a goal, they enjoy a try, but they enjoy the favorite player. And a favorite player is cool because I've seen him or her do this on Instagram, or I've seen him or her in this photo shoot, and that's what gets the hook. Then you learn more about the game and you stay involved and you follow it for other reasons. But I think that's one thing that's really been lacking in women's sport in general here in the UK is we haven't really had a celebration of the individuals and the characters. I think there's almost a humble modesty sometimes for female athletes, which I just love the way that Ilona Maher has shown. You can be big, bold, sassy, funny out there, but you can still be a humble and integral athlete. And I think she's got that spot on. And I really hope that's going to inspire more players of all female sports to put themselves out there a little bit more and say, look, I'm not just the athlete on the field. This is what I am outside as well.
And that's one of the difficulties here in the United States is the sports market are the characters, are the athletes, is the name on the back of the jerseys for most of especially the top sports like NFL, baseball, basketball. And rugby's been talking about that too with Major League Rugby, about putting names in the back of the jerseys, billboards with their pictures, and it's all kinds of characters. And I think it's a good thing, personally. I think it's good to get, if someone's going to buy Bristol Bears uniforms or jerseys with Ilona Maher's name on the back, then there's nothing wrong with that. So it's great. And we've seen an uptick since the Olympics of college age girls signing up for rugby at the very least, where you started. It's big uptick. Many colleges have been having issues fielding 15 players. Now they have 30 plus, getting into the game because of that reason. So it's amazing to see that impact. So, but going back a second, that first game for Bristol, where we're talking about maybe many of the fans are new to the game, what impact does it have for a PWR club to go from selling 300 plus tickets to a match to 9,000? What does it do for the club? That's a lot of extra income coming in that they would get for a whole season.
Yeah. I know. It's incredible. No, be really excited because we probably won't see the financial benefits in the club until next season, and then plot it all away and see what they spend out next year. But I know this is crazy. She inadvertently created a job. Okay. So when she came over, Bristol Bears were like, oh my gosh, we've got this, this amazing person. We need to put her all over our social media. So they actually put out a job for 3 months for someone to be a social media manager for Bristol Bears women. And they never had one, purely because Ilona Maher was coming over. And needless to say, all of a sudden their social media had spiked. But again, fantastic. You don't just want this to be a short-term thing. You want this amazing, however long it lasts for, 3 months, Ilona Maher, but then it's important that it continues, and then it's important they still push their characters, their players, push the quality of their rugby as well.
So we're going to jump ahead a little bit here, Fitzy. We don't script this at all, obviously. We got some notes. We do not script this at all. But I want to jump ahead a little bit. Off the field with Ilona, geez, I guess my Northeast American accent coming out. Her impact on girls' body image is really something else. Again, my daughter loves her. I couldn't imagine how tough it is for Ilona to read those horrible negative comments on her socials. You know, she posted a really emotional post during the Olympics. You know, how important really is it for girls, like Fitzy just led up to a minute ago, to have someone like Ilona to look up to, especially off the field?
Yeah. Well, so important now because, like I'm saying, we're wanting more athletes to put themselves out there. But sadly, as we know, inevitably that's going to come with some comments. And I think it's so good of Ilona to be so honest, because some people might forgive. And, just if you just scroll through, you just, oh my gosh, she's living the life. She's doing this, she's doing that, she's posing for this. She must be so body confident, just the photos. But then when you listen, she talks about it, she writes about it, how she is still getting those type of comments and how she interprets them and how she deals with them. That's huge. That's important. Making sure people know that you're not the only one. And sadly, it happens to us all, but it's how you process it, how you deal with it, and certainly don't let it inhibit you. I think that's a really important message that she's spreading.
Philippa, you mentioned this earlier, about Bristol probably maybe not seeing the financial results until next year, based on the Ilona Maher effect. But then, and this might be a difficult question to answer because there's probably a number of ways to tackle. But how do you harness the impact or the leverage, or the awareness that is right now on PWR long term, right? So like 12 to 18 months, right? We know that her contract was short term. She's going to come back to the States, maybe playing women's elite rugby. We can talk about that in a second. But how do you, in your opinion, what's the best way for PWR to be able to keep this attention long term? Because there are a number of great athletes in the PWR that are playing at a high level, obviously, maybe aren't getting the recognition. Yeah. How do you keep this long term? Sustain it.
Yeah, that's the great question. That's something that I think the board are still tussling with. The sad and crazy thing is that PWR, Premiership Women's Rugby, is the best rugby league in the world for women, and it still hasn't got a title sponsor, which is quite crazy. And I know that was something that they really wanted to try and knuckle down last year, but I know that's something they're really much looking forward to trying to knuckle down this year. And I think, the viewing figures, the ticket sales that we are now seeing, and hopefully we'll see for at least the rest of the season, will certainly help in regards to securing its future. We've got a point at the moment where we only have one live broadcast with TNT per weekend, and then you're relying on the club's streaming ability. Now, a team like Saracens do a very good job. It's a very professional stream. You'd be forgiven to not think it's, proper TV. There's multiple cameras. They can do replays. It's run by a very informed gentleman called Henry. It's really, really good. But then on the other ones, they are more of a, you see the stuttering camera sort of moving, and it's a stream. It's getting out there, but it's not great. So I think making sure we can watch every game would, for me personally, I think would be a huge step forward next year, and making sure that they're kind of produced and shown it in an appropriate manner, because we want to make sure we can see these superstars, and there are superstars in every team. I mean, there's USA players in every team. We've got such. Then one of the things I love about this league is the amount of different countries that are represented throughout it. It's absolutely brilliant. That Gloucester Hartbury now have got 3 international captains playing for them. Wow. It's just crazy. Yeah, needless to say, they're top of the league. Yeah.
Let's talk about. Go on. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Bill.
I was jumping on you. Go.
Over you.
Go.
I'm going to let you.
All right, fine. Since we're touching on players, you mentioned the Eagles. 23 USA Eagles are in PWR right now. Just to mention a few. Alev Kelter with Lightning. Similar reasons why she's in PWR as Ilona, although Alev spent some time with Saracens, as you know. Hope Rogers, Chiefs, Rachel Johnson, Kate Zachary, Lottie Sharp with Saracens, all phenomenal players. Which USA players have grabbed your attention?
Ooh.
Should I list them all? I'm sure you know who they are.
No, I know who they are. You know what? There's a couple. Can I have a couple of different reasons? A couple of different players that we usually say. Yeah. So, like Hope Rogers for me is just so consistent. Exeter Chiefs front row. I just love the fact that she's a front row that's also played international sevens. I just have full respect.
Yeah, that's that funny.
That's another level. Amazing. So for her, just so consistent, and she does the gritty stuff in the scrum. Yet you cannot stop her from scoring a try 5 minutes out from the try line. Like she's one of their top try scorers, but it's year on year on year. You're saying the same things. Like, oh my gosh, Hope Rogers again, like up there. So got a lot of time and respect for her. And then Aleph Kelter, I just love. I described her the other week. I don't know whether this is, you can tell me because you're American. So I have limited ice hockey knowledge, but I know they're crazy and they're very physical. But they have a lot of padding, right? So when they go into these brawls, like they're all, padded up. Aleph Kelter runs into contact like she's wearing that padding, okay? Because I know she's got a big ice hockey background, isn't she? With international in the 20s. She runs in and her arms are going, her legs are going, like every time she'll get 5-10 meters. Like she is impossible to stop. She's a battering ram. But again, got that sevens, got that lovely pass, those, silky hands and things like that. So I think, well, I'm keeping going now. Rachel Johnson for Exeter, she just quietly goes about her business, getting through a ton of work, carrying that ball when the scrum's going back, when she puts her hands in, when no one wants to go, she gets that ball, she gets it going forward. And she's one of the players that, she's not going to go running down the wing. She's not going to be doing a chip and chase. She's not going to be doing that sort of fancy stuff, but it's just a consistent, steady, ticks every box. A bad game is an 8 out of 10. Rachel Johnson, for Exeter Chiefs as well. So, yeah.
And an award-winning smile. Rachel's always smiling, except in the match.
Yeah. There's a serious game face then. But as soon as this stops, she's all
right. Okay, other than Eagles, who are your favorite, for those tuning into the Rugby Network here in America, which broadcasts that TNT Sports Network game and the YouTube matches, other than the Eagles, who are your favorite players to watch? For me, I love watching Harlequins fullback Ellie Kildone and also her teammate Alice Callender. I mean, Ellie's hair alone. I mean, come on.
Yeah, Ellie Kildone. Wow, what a season she's had so far.
Yeah.
World Rugby Player of the Year last year. Talks even more about how she still feels like she's learning and she's got so much room to grow, which is incredible.
Yeah.
But you know what? I very much love her kind of understudy, if you will, and that's Emma Singh, the fullback from Ross Hartbury, top point scorer. Again, so consistent in all of the stats in regards to sort of line breaks, meters made, defenders beaten. She's up there, top 3 every weekend. She's so consistent. I really feel for her because I think she's only got maybe 1 or 2 international caps. She's an England player because in front of her, Ellie Kildone. It's like literally Emma Singh is doing everything she possibly can. Now, we just had the England training squad announced and she's in it. But still, it'll be very tough for her to look Ellie Kildone. But equally, you need, depth, especially going into a World Cup. You can't have, one player playing every game. But yeah, Emma Singh for me, she is fantastic. Young fullback that, but yeah, she just got some big shoes to try and push out away before she.
Yeah.
Similar line of question here. Your thoughts? Non-England qualified players in the PWR.
Yes.
Your thoughts on the limit on the number of non-England qualified players in the PWR?
Yes. Okay. So yeah, for some context, EQP, as they're referred to, is basically you have to have 13 England qualified players in your match day 23. So that only leaves sort of 10 spaces really for all these amazing other internationals we have. It's not affected anything too much. We have got a fine at the moment for Loughborough Lightning. They're going to be docked points at the end of the season because they missed it by like one player, I think. But we did have a point last year, whereas I think it was the semi-final, where there was an Irish international that literally played, every round, a fantastic player who then, when it came to the semi-final, because of the EQP, she lost her place. And it was just a bit like, oh, I mean, I totally get it. The Premiership Women's Rugby was heavily invested by the RFU, the England Union. They pretty much set it up. So you can understand why they see it as their tool to develop homegrown talent. But then also I love the diversity of the league, and I think there's so much in the ability to learn from other players that have played rugby in different countries and what they bring. So I think it very much depends on what team you're talking to. If it's a team that's got a lot of England players, they don't mind it at all. If you've got a team that's got, like Exeter Chiefs, probably one of the most internationally diverse teams, they very much have their frustrations with it. So, yeah, I can see why they've done it. I can't say it's right or wrong. Ultimately, they set up the lead, and I'm just thankful that they did, and they put so much investment into it because other countries are benefiting from it. But I can understand why they want to have the most.
England's already number one. Give someone else a chance. It's been too long for USA. Hey, you know what? They're number one because of the Canadian, the USA, the Irish, the French players in this league. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm serious. I mean, that's not 100% why, but being able to train and play against the top players in the world is only going to make you better. Right? You pull them all away. They're not all getting pulled away, obviously, but you pull them all away, and that lowers the level of play consistently you're playing against and learning from. So I think it's just good, and I don't know.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I mean, for a while, France and England were like this. There's a couple of points in their games, and then the PWR or Premier 15s, it used to be called Allianz Prem. It was called before. Pretty much that got set up 3 or 4 years later. Now it's like this between France and England. The only thing that's really changed is the investment in the domestic league, which sadly, I don't follow the French league every week, but I know you've got basically 2 or 3 good teams at the top, but then the disparity of the 3 or 4 at the bottom is too much. They're not getting, like you say, that quality of challenge week in, week out. So, it's a good point made,
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
And back to the show.
Philippa, a couple questions about yourself. First one,
Okay.
did you miss playing the game?
Sometimes. Sometimes I don't miss the fitness sessions. Those pre-season couple of weeks, you just know it's gonna hurt. No, I do very much. I miss the training with the girls. I just miss being in the elite environment. I just felt that was so special, especially because I was amateur era. I was a professional era, so. But, you go in on a Saturday morning and, you got a whole day. And I love the fact in that day, I knew I was going to be physically challenged, mentally challenged. You see your strength and conditioning coach, you see your nutritionist. Well, I just felt so lucky that, I've got these people that are trying to make me the best version I can possibly be. And I love that environment. I love the challenge of it. And I do miss that. And yeah, many a times, you see them running out on big occasions. I was very lucky. My last ever tournament was the Commonwealth Games, and then the following Commonwealth Games was in Birmingham, and I was part of the production team, and I was calling it out, and it was just so crazy to think how the sort of the cycle of rugby life, and how it felt like only yesterday I was there on the pitch, and now I'm here with a microphone, and I just feel very lucky that I can still be sort of within touching distance with the rugby media stuff, but it's just not as painful, which is great.
So you're on the wing, 1-on-1. Ilona Maher is coming at you with the ball. How do you handle the tackle? Do you do this? Your ball.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, hey, what an amazing opportunity though. It was a great couple of one-on-ones between Claudia McDonald, the English winger, and Ilona Maher. Like they pretty much got 1-for-1, I think, which was a great challenge. You just got 2 incredible athletes, just like outsmarting one another. It's just brilliant. But no, gosh, I would have loved that challenge. I was always I actually quite liked tackling, which was crazy, most England stones. Didn't really like the ruck area. I'd stay away from that. But a one-on-one tackle, I love that. It's just the ultimate challenge, isn't it? Just beat me, or I'm going to try and beat you. I actually really enjoyed that. So yeah, I wouldn't have minded after, but maybe on the ground I would have been like, have an autograph after.
All right, just a few more questions for you. 2025 Rugby World Cups in England. Will you be heavily involved? And how exciting is it to have it in your own backyard?
It's incredibly exciting because as much as I live in Wales, which is next door, it's only an hour across the border, and I keep having to check myself because I keep calling it Home World Cup, but obviously I'm Welsh, I can't say that.
That's true.
England World Cup, but it feels like a home World Cup because there are so many more eyes on the Women's Premiership. I know there's going to be so many more eyes now on the Women's Six Nations because that's the big build-up. Where are teams? Where are players? So yeah, I'm so excited for it. I mean, I really do think this is going to be record-breaking on many, many levels. We had a record for the World Cup final in New Zealand in the last World Cup. This, I'm telling you, this will be on another level. In regards to my involvement, yes, although it's going to be with the BBC, but the sort of production company hasn't been 100% confirmed yet. So I have to wait and see, but hopefully, yes, I will be involved.
And also, people should know this also, you co-host a podcast with Nick Heath, PWR's official podcast, The Power Pod. Talk about the pod. What is it about? And does Nick often reference any of his COVID days live commentary?
Oh, Nick is lovely. Nick is so lovely. He is he's just such an advocate for the league and everything that's good about it. And, he's done he's done so much voluntary work for the league just to get it out there. And it was his idea for the podcast. And he approached the PWR bosses and said, look, I think it's time. There's enough people out there want to know about the league, want to know about the players, what a bit more analysis. If people can't watch every game at home because it's not all, like I say, streamed or televised, can we at least tell the people, what happened, who performed, keep everyone in the loop? And I was very lucky that he turned to me and asked if I would work with him. We commentated a couple of times together, and it's never short of a giggle when you're with Nick Heath. He's a lovely, lovely guy. So, when he approached me about it, I was like, absolutely, how amazing. And selfishly building up into the World Cup, it's really helped my knowledge of all the different players and all the different countries. Because, like I say, when every game isn't shown, you don't really feel like you can get properly into it. But we're lucky now. We get given footage from every game from the AMs for each team. So I'm watching every game. I'm seeing every player. So I feel really confident going into the World Cup. I can give a good account of their journey and who to look out for, which is all part and parcel, I think, of making sure we get everyone the best possible chance to really engage in the World Cup and these individuals.
That's great. Philippa, this is the funsy part of the interview. And talk a little off camera before we started about pronunciation, so you may know where this one is going. But I interviewed Steph Hughes a few months back when he was joining Old Glory DC and MLR. And I asked him to pronounce the name of that Welsh town that is known for being the longest in the world. And according to my ears, he nailed it. But before I ask you to pronounce the name, Gil, Tate, you're up. Can you flash Can you flash the town's name on the screen, Bill? Did you?
No.
Okay.
I don't want to.
So, please, right now, try and pronounce that.
All right, we got. No, let me go first. I got
Bill,
this.
try this.
I want to go first. Are you ready for this? It's Lon. Kukukach. My mic went out. Did you not hear that? That was perfect. My mic went out in the middle of it.
Oh, wow.
Okay, you can try.
Oh, you know what? In all honesty, I've never even been to this train station. All I know is it ends in go, go, go. That's what anyone ever knows. You ask anyone about that, they're like, oh yeah, and go, go, go. I know. So yeah, it's Deck, of course. He's come over to you from the Dragons, isn't he? Lovely guy. Yeah. Lovely guy. I believe he's doing playing around coaching.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a player coach role. Yeah,
amazing. Yeah.
All right, everybody, be sure to check out the Power Pod. It's available, I believe, in all podcast players pretty much. Great insight on the PWR. I've listened to a couple episodes myself to help out with the stuff I post. Thank you, by the way. Philippa Tuttiett, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a joy, been a blast.
Oh, no, thank you very much. And hey, when you see Dallin next time, tell him I say hi, because he's a lovely guy.
Absolutely, yeah, he's great. I text him every so often. I do. I say, how do you pronounce this person's name?
He's good for that. He's good for that.
Absolutely. All right, good luck, and we look forward to seeing you on TV anywhere else soon.
Absolutely. All right, take care, guys. Have a great evening.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
All right, that was a blast. And you know what? I didn't kick her off before she said bye-bye. It's a new year. It's a new season, Fitzy. I'm willing to see her waiting. Is she still there?
Those who don't know,
but-
Will has a track record of cutting off the guest right as you're saying bye.
There's a lot of things I'm not good at. I think it's actually a higher list than the things I'm good at. So it's all about accepting your faults and not blaming them. Fitzy, you should try that. I just came up with that.
Okay. I came up with something the other day. I was talking about some crackpot theory I had, and I said, just because I'm wrong now doesn't mean I won't be right later. I felt like
That makes sense.
just because I'm wrong now doesn't mean I won't eventually be right later.
Is there a cutoff? Is there a time limit?
No,
75 years from now. That one time Fitzy said that thing. All right, listen, I do believe this show should end on the jingle.
So good.
It was a good one. For those still tuning in, these jingles will be released in a box set in your favorite record store. Wait, do those exist anymore?
Vinyl. Yeah.
Vinyl, yes. Let's do it. Here we go. Yeah.
Yo, from the pitch to the booth, a voice that commands, a do-it-yourself across the land, built to own fame, a passion so bright, the face of Welsh rugby shining never so light, in the commentary box the words resonate true.
And get better at dancing.
A vision anew, co-host in the power pod, with wisdom and grace, she's breaking the mold, leaving a mark on this space.
Intro
I'm
coming
one
up.
of the most respected.
Yes.
Her insights ignite, stories unfold, a brilliant shining light. Let's welcome to the show, Philippa Tuttiett.
Let it go. Long version. That's right.
Next time I go to the club, I'm gonna press the DJ.
And bring it down. All right, Fitzy, good stuff. Listeners, please like, follow, and subscribe to this live show and the podcast. Podcast replays come out the very next day after these pods. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Tune in next week, and we will be advertising our guests very soon. Cheers, everybody.
Philippa Tuttiett.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.